Hey guys, welcome to Beyond Bricks. I am your host, Kevin Stewart. And guys, I'm a little chilly today. In Michigan, for those who may be watching that are out of state, guys, we live in a cold state. I don't know what it is going on in Michigan right now, but it is, I swear it's below zero right now. I got up today and was going through my morning routine on my way to the gym, and I got out of the car and it had snowed a little last night. And I don't know if you've experienced this, but have you ever experienced the crunchy snow where it's so cold, there's no even ability for it to melt? It's just freezing. All it does is sound super loud as you're walking through it. That's how cold it was today. It was one of those days where I was like, holy cow, like getting out and getting moving is so difficult today. It's so difficult. But you want to know the reason that I got up and I got going and I did my morning routine? I was at the gym at 6, even though I stayed up a little late last night, because I promised that I would. I did something that I'm going to talk about today, which is I simply showed up. Now, I showed up good today. I showed up and I worked out hard. I worked through a program. I've hired a new trainer and hired a new nutrition coach because health is one of my absolute top priorities in 2026. I am focusing myself and my family are heavily focusing on our health coming into this year. We're working with this great new program called Fast Eat Live. Scott Jansen and his wife are coaching our family on how to properly use nutrients, gut health, and fasting to heal our bodies and to become better and to create more energy using the body that God gave us, the way God intended us to use it to grow and be better. Scott has already taught me some incredible things, and it is built and put in an energy already into my life that I'm super grateful for. And today, and what I want to do for the next handful of episodes is I want to focus on the basics. When we were planning this year and our team was sitting down at our retreat and going through how we were going to achieve our goals for this year, after we set our theme for the year, we went through and said, okay, well, now how are we going to do it? And like I said in the previous episode, is that we pointed everything back to our non-negotiables, everything back to the things in our life that really matter. The 7 things that we set out as a company that we say, look, these are the things we will not compromise on in any way, shape, or form. We're going to focus on these and we're going to make sure that these become a huge part of 2026. So today, what I want to do, because I had the example this morning, I want to talk about showing up. Because if you see here on the list here and then over on the wall, if you were able to see it on the right, we've got these principles. We have them all over the office. We have them posted everywhere. We have them on worksheets. We have them on form documents. We have them everywhere. Because my team and myself, I need to be reminded every day that these things matter. And so today when my alarm went off and I was in my nice warm bed, not wanting to get up, what did I tell myself? I said, Kevin, you have to show up. It's your first rule. It's the very first thing. If you set out and you say you're going to do something, you have to show up. It's the first rule. Nothing else matters if you don't show up. So inside of our planning, we focused on our non-negotiables and have set out to make them a heavy part of our conversations. So I'm going to share that with you guys. I hope you enjoy this, and I hope you enjoy this little series we're going to do on Beyond Bricks, because I believe that sharing these principles with you matters. And I believe that they're ones that you can use to help recenter and realign the things that you're doing in your life. You're welcome to copy them. You're welcome to use them. You're welcome to make some slight adjustments on them. But I believe that everybody should have them. I believe everybody walking out there in the world should have some principles and some non-negotiables that they take with them every single day to make sure that they're doing the right things with the time that we've been given. So the first founding principle, the thing that I want to talk about today, is showing up. Because guys, talent matters, strategy matters, but none of it matters if you don't show up. None of it matters if you don't do the very first thing, which is to walk through the door. I can have all the intentions in the world of eating right and wanting to work on my body and wanting to work on my health and wanting to work on my longevity so that I can be on this earth a little longer. But if I don't get out of bed and show up to the gym every day, guys, it's going to be really hard for me to do that. I have to show up and walk through the door. None of it matters if you don't show up. It's not about perfection. Showing up I don't want people to think that showing up is about being perfect. It's about presence and consistency and ownership. Showing up is about being present and being there in the moment, and then having consistency, showing up on a regular basis and having ownership in the things that you set out to do and owning that you have to do it on a daily basis. So some things that I wrote down that help us kind of center on what showing up means and what it means to myself, what it means to our company, and what I believe it should mean and help you in the way that you're pushing yourself. I broke down 5 things. So the first way in we're going to show up consistently, especially when it's uncomfortable. Guys, anybody can show up when it's easy. Anybody can show up at the beginning of the year. There's a reason that gyms are absolutely packed right now. The reason gyms are packed is because it's the new year. All of what I've joked about calling the New Year's resolutioners, they're all in the gym right now. I saw a funny reel that came across my phone talking about, I'm super excited because in the next couple weeks, the gym gets quiet again. People joke about it because it's true. Do you know how many gyms make money because they bank on you signing a 1-year contract in December or January, knowing that by March, you're never going to show up again? That's how a lot of these gyms make money. That's why they make the gym memberships really inexpensive, because you forget about $20 or $30 a month. You're less likely to forget about big numbers. But you're going to forget about that sometimes. It doesn't really, but you get the motivation because it's easy to show up when there's motivation. Beginning of the year when you're trying to do something new and you're like, hey, this is the year where I'm going to get healthy. So you start by showing up. Why? Because you're motivated. It's easy in the beginning to show up. But showing up consistently is about showing up when the motivation isn't there anymore. When the motivation is gone. When you don't feel like it. When you're frustrated, when you're having a bad day, when it's raining outside, when it's below 0 like it is today. Showing up matters because showing up consistently matters. The real test is showing up when it's hard, when it's boring, and when it's super inconvenient. Because if you're committed to doing something, it's not always convenient to follow through. If it was convenient, everybody would do it. But if you're setting out things that are going to help you grow, that are going to help stretch you into becoming a better person, it's going to be inconvenient at times. And when it is, do you show up? Are you the person that's going to show up every single time, no matter what, because that's what you committed to do? Consistency builds trust. When you have that consistency, it builds trust with everybody around you. Today, I would have let someone down. Someone on my team who went and worked out with me this morning. I knew she was going to be there. If I didn't show up, I would have let her down because whether she admitted it or not, she probably would have thought differently of me. Because I said I was going to be there. And if I wasn't there, what does that say about me? What does that can say about the trust, about my word of saying I'm going to show up? That's why accountability matters. Sharing and telling people the things you're going to do, that you're going to set out to do. And then having people around you that you give permission to keep you accountable to those things helps you be consistent. Because for me, it's important for me that I don't let people down. That's a core belief of who I am. But it builds trust. It builds trust with your team, with yourself, with your clients, with your family. You have to have that trust built. Momentum isn't built in the big moments. Sometimes we think it's in the big moments. The big moments are the New Year's resolutions. The big moments are the times where you get this massive spark of excitement and you say, I'm going to do this because whatever. You get pumped up and you get excited. Those are the big moments. Momentum is not built in those. It's built in the super small repeat choices. It's about getting my 10 toes on the ground at 5:30 in the morning so I can be to the gym by 6. I know that that's when I have to be out of bed. I have to, because if I'm not, I'm going to be late. So I need to have my toes on the ground by 5:30 in the morning. That's a commitment, but that's a small repeat choice that if I do consistently for the entire year and into the years to come, I'm going to have longevity. I'm going to be a healthier person. I'm going to be a happier person. I'm going to have more energy. I'm going to be able to show up better for everybody else in my life because I showed up in the small spaces. So you have to show up consistently. The second thing, you have to show up prepared, not just present. Sometimes we think that showing up is just, well, okay, you have to show up and just be there. And sometimes I can say maybe that's all you have. Sometimes just walking through the door is the victory. But to really show up in the way that I'm talking, in the way that our company and myself are committed to, is you have to show up and be prepared for what you're going to do. You have to show up and be ready. Being there is not the same as being ready. Guys, if every single time I decided to shoot an episode and come and bring some ideas to you and I didn't have anything prepared, this podcast would be trash. I think there's a lot of people that go through and do things like this. And early on in season 1, I was preparing, but I was preparing, I'm not going to lie, like an hour before I turned the camera on. That's not really showing up. That's not showing up in the right way. That's not showing up prepared. That's showing up prepared enough to kind of do something. Well, this last year in season 2 and now moving into season 3, that's completely different. That went out the window. I'm super prepared when I come into here. Anybody that's worked on this podcast with me, EJ, my producer, will tell you, I show up prepared. I know what I'm going to talk about and I know where I'm going to go. And in fact, we have conversations where we talk multiple episodes in advance, where we want to go. This year, we're being more intentional about the spaces in which we're shooting. We just had a conversation about changing up the location and space in which we're going to shoot this year because we want to have some variety. We want it to feel and look different. Guys, that's us being prepared. That's going way outside the normal, saying we want to elevate this and make it better by being more prepared this year than we were last. And preparation is about respect. It's respect for the opportunity. It's respect for the people that are involved with you. It would be disrespectful to EJ and his time if I did not show up prepared. How dare I take his time and me not show up ready for action? That would be wrong. That would be disrespecting my relationship with him and disrespecting the opportunity to help serve other people. It'd be disrespectful. So preparation, showing up prepared, is about respect. When you're prepared as well, you're confident. I can come on the show and be confident in the things that I'm talking about. I can take additional preparation right before the episode to review what I'm going to talk about to say, okay, let's go, EJ. Let's do this. I am prepared and I am confident that I can deliver a message that I believe will be impactful to those who watch it. It creates that confidence. If I wasn't prepared, I wouldn't have that confidence. Third thing, showing up with the right attitude. Guys, attitude matters a ton. Last year, our theme was the power of positivity because positivity is what I want to exude, what I want to give into the world. I want to be the person that is ultra positive to everyone I meet. I want to put smiles on their face. When they walk away, I want them to say, gosh, I'm glad I saw Kevin today. That's what I want to give to this world. It's the energy. Because guys, energy is super contagious. Positive energy is contagious. Negative energy is contagious. If you're the person that's walking and you're showing up, but you're showing up with a crappy attitude, that's contagious. That negatively affects the people around you. So you can't just show up. You got to show up with the right attitude. You have to show up with that ability to be a positive person and be an effective person for the people that you're around. Your mindset sets the tone in every single room you enter. If I walk in and I order a cup of coffee and I walk into that coffee shop frustrated, angry, give me my coffee and get out, I guarantee you at least one person in that coffee shop feels that energy, whether they realized it or not. Have you ever been in a place where you can tell the energy changes, where something didn't go right? Sometimes it's because of who's in the room. I do believe in vibrational frequency. I believe that we give that out. I talked about that before here on the show. I 100% believe that is real. But can your mindset and your tone when you enter a room change it for the good? What frequency are you giving out? What energy are you bringing with your attitude so that when you do show up, the people around you are better because of it? Ask yourself that question. Be curious. Choose humanity, choose optimism, choose joy. Whatever the key word is for you, make the choice to show up in a way and in a mindset that has a positive influence on those around you. And just see how the world changes. See how your life changes. Fourth thing, you got to show up for others, not just yourself. Sometimes showing up is selfish. And yes, are there things that I do where I show up because it's selfish for me? Maybe. Probably. Probably, if I'm being honest. But if I focus on showing up for other people, there's so much more strength in that. Because if you just focus it on yourself, your why, the why you're doing that is completely differently. It's completely different. You're just going to show up different. But if you're focusing on the effect of other people, the way you show up will be so much stronger. Because guys, success is a team sport. You're never going to get through this by yourself. I don't care who you are. Frankly, it's not a sport that I want to play alone. Life is not a sport that I have any interest in playing alone. I will never really do anything of sustenance by myself anymore. I just won't. There's no point. I have no interest in it. As I grow in my business life, if I'm going to start new companies and come up with new ideas, I am going to do that in partnership with other people. Period. I have no interest in doing it alone. I've done it alone before. It was not fun. It was not. It was lonely. It was painful at times. But when you do it with the right people and you go and live life with the right people that matter, your ability to be successful skyrockets because success is a team sport. It gives you a reason to show up for somebody other than you. Look for ways to support, encourage, and elevate others beyond yourself. If you're giving back, this year we're giving back and moving forward. If you give back and help teach people and help show people, you are going to elevate yourself by nature. There's no way you can't. You become more self-aware and more self-accountable because you're working with other people. Showing up for others builds culture, not just results. When I show up properly for this company and I do the things that I'm supposed to do, I'm prepared every single day of the week. I'm prepared on Monday when I come in. I'm prepared throughout the week with the things that I've set out to do. When I show up on all those and I'm dialed in, that creates and builds a strong culture. It can't help not do that, because what do people start doing then? They start showing up bigger. They start following the leader, and they show up in ways that they never have before. That builds a strong and beautiful culture. Great teams are built by people who take responsibility for more than just themselves. You have to take responsibility for the actions of other people. I know that's tough. If you run a company, if you're in any position of leadership, and everybody is, I think we've established that on this show before. Everybody is in some sort of position of leadership, whether you realize it or not, whether you accept it or not. You are in a position of leadership. If you're in a position of leadership, your responsibility is to elevate other people. You focus on them, that lifts them up, and that brings you up with them. It's just the truth and it's fact. The last thing, you have to show up as your authentic self. I talk a lot about the show on being who you are and being who you're meant to be and finding the person inside of you that God designed you to be. But if you're going to show up, you need to show up authentically. You don't need to be someone else. You just need to be you. I can't be someone else. There's people in my life that I look up to and I admire. I massively admire. I talk about them all the time. There's so many mentors and people in my life that I look up, I aspire to, but I can't be them. All I can do is be me. I can glean from them. I can take pieces and aspects of their life. I can try to model growth. I can try to model ideas after what I observe, but it still has to come back to being the authentic version of me. Authenticity continues to build that connection and that trust with other people. People can see if you are not being who you really are. I believe so. You ever meet people that you're like, dude, there's no way that person's actually that way. There's no way. You can tell. Now, sometimes you get to know them and you go, holy cow, they really are that way. Wow. No, that's incredible. And then what do? You gravitate towards them even more. But we all know the people out there that are fake. We know it. They're just putting out a front. You can see it. You can sense it. You can feel it. But true authenticity builds trust. It builds that connection. The best version of you, the best version of everybody out there is the real you. It's the real, authentic version of you that the world is waiting for. You don't inspire people by pretending. You inspire them by being real. Inspiration doesn't come from fake. It comes from true, authentic love for others and true, authentic realization that what you do matters. That is how you create an impact. That's how you inspire other people. That's how you do something that creates ripples that are so far beyond what you can see or comprehend. Guys, show up. Show up when it's easy. Show up when it's hard. And show up when it matters most. Because of all the things you can do this year, all of the goals that you may have set out to do, all of the aspirations and the things that you want to do to grow, they start with the first step, which is to show up. Show up consistently. Show up prepared. Show up with a great attitude. Show up for others. And then show up as your authentic self. Because your authentic self is exactly what the world needs. Go be yourself. Have a good day, guys.